the hot topic right now is inflation and shrinkflation. What is happening right now with our stuff? Everything has doubled, if not tripled in price, and everybody is feeling the pinch. No matter what amount of money
Yeah.
you're making right now, you are feeling the pinch. And it's like, why does McDonald's cost more than going to a sit down restaurant to eat at this point?
Yeah, I feel like, the everything is being raised, right? The price of food, gas, the cost of living, your insurances, but I don't see a pay increase.
At
And
all.
it's getting very frustrating because when you see the amount of money that comes out of your check for taxes and things of that nature, and yet you have inflation going on. And then I heard last that Biden was signing something to try to keep us
From
from
having side
side
hustles.
hustles. Like, no. I feel like, and it brings into a whole discussion of all the events and things going on in the world right now. Like the media putting a lot of hate out there with
Yeah.
racism and all kinds of other things, and I feel like it's a distraction.
Yeah.
I think his name is Tom McDonald, if I'm not mistaken. He said in a rap song, and I absolutely love it, but he said the best way to keep people prisoners is don't let them see the cage.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And it's just, I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on, but I feel like a lot of stuff is distractions to keep us from really seeing the bigger picture of what's
Right.
actually going on. They're getting, I feel like our government's getting more control over us, especially with our finances. And it's stressful, man. Like we said, earlier, we live in stressful times right now, and it causes some people to focus and some people to fold, so you're
Yeah.
having a whole lot of different reactions with people as well too.
I know for me, and we're gonna kind of talk about this. I don't want to go too deep into it because in
Right.
our next episode, I'm gonna kind of cover a little bit more. But it's definitely making us as a society move differently.
Right.
So, like one of the things that are currently happening, people are boycotting these big corporations.
Right.
Like I know right now, there's a McDonald's boycott going on. There
Planet
was
Fitness,
Planet Fitness.
Budweiser, Bud Light.
Well, but I feel like the Bud Light boycott is kind of simmered down. I don't know if they're still doing that, but at one point they were.
Yeah.
And then they were doing a Target boycott and a Kellogg's, the cereal boycott.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
one's fresh because they were like, oh, yeah, eat cereal for dinner. And people were like,
Right.
are you serious? Like, nah, we ain't buying from you no more.
trying to make the new norm? Like, no, stay broke, guys. Keep working and stay broke and eat cereal for dinner. Like,
Yeah,
come
like
on.
yeah, that wasn't a good look. I think us as a society though, like even tipping culture. I didn't write that down, but that is a big problem right now too. You have to tip for every little thing. And I come from a serving background, and so I've always been respectful of the fact that if
Right.
you go to a sit down restaurant, tip because they make $2.13 an hour. If you did not know, servers only make $2.13 an hour, and they literally live off of the tips that are provided during the service. And don't get me wrong,
Right.
I've heard both perspectives on tipping at a restaurant, but why am I tipping people who are not even touching anything? Like, why am I at Walmart at a self checkout and you're asking me, do I want to leave a tip? Who am
Right.
I leaving a tip to?
Right.
I had to bag and scan my own stuff, first of all.
Yeah.
It's getting out of hand. And then even like some of the places that I've heard that you're supposed to tip, which I didn't even know that you're supposed to tip these places. So like barbershops, like I learned that you're supposed to tip your barber or any type of service provider. Now, don't get me wrong, if they go above and beyond, I feel that that should be an option. But I didn't know it was a requirement for you, like, especially in the wedding industry. Apparently you're supposed to tip the place that you get your wedding dress from. And then you're like, there's this whole system where you're supposed to tip everybody involved on top of paying the service amount.
Right.
Like, put it in the fee.
And again, throughout all this, let me remind you, the pay is not increased. Go ahead.
Yeah, like, dang. So, like, for me, I don't feel bad when I don't tip at certain places because they said that with the Square POS thing, Square started it. It's Square's fault that everywhere is asking for tips, for one, because Square has on their POS, where it'll ask you like, hey, do you want a tip? And it has like the percentages. And a lot of people use Square to like run their businesses.
So I'm gonna be honest, I do not tip if I'm doing self-serve. If I'm self-serving, but now if I go to a restaurant, I've always tipped. And when I used to go to a barber, I used to always tip as well too.
What? That's crazy.
I did.
So
I really did.
so with the barber situation, because like my kids have had the same barber since they were little, we do tip him. But I did not know that you were supposed to tip your barber. It wasn't until like some years in that we were going to them that I found that out. And then I felt bad because I'm like, dang, I wonder if he feels the type of way because we ain't never tipped him.
Yeah.
And then we started after that. But that was before the C word. Yeah. That was before 2020. Now, after 2020, it seems like the tipping culture has just gotten ridiculous to the point where you're just, it ain't nothing for me to see that. Do you want to tip? And I'm like, nope. But back to inflation and shrinkflation. So with the shrinkflation specifically, and this is why I said we as a society are starting to move differently, because how do you raise the price on specific items, whether it's chips, cookies, any type of food product? I'm speaking food products specifically at the grocery store.
I know where you're going with this.
So you've raised the price and we get less of the product.
Right.
How does that work?
Right.
And they try to be slick with it because, like for the cake batter, for example, the cake mix.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. So you give us less cake mix, but you say that we still need the same amount of eggs and the same amount of grease and stuff. But now the product, instead of getting 24 cupcakes, for example, now you're only getting about 16, 17.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And then the quality of the food is different because you are trying to pretend like you didn't change anything. And so we don't know why the cake tastes differently and why we're getting less amounts than we know. Like it's a whole thing, and it's causing you to not want to buy from the corporations at all because you know that they're basically like spitting in your face.
Yeah,
you know,
it's bad. I remember a medium pizza whenever I was growing up was big, and a large pizza was really big. Now a large pizza is the size of a medium pizza.
Yeah,
and it's just like little things like that you start paying attention to. And like you said, you know, you're paying what, $6 for a bag of Doritos, and you got 40% air. No, I quit eating chips because of that.
Chips are like $5 right now for like the family bag, and they used to be like $2. And so you have to pick and choose, or don't even choose at all. Like I ain't finna.
Yeah. The sad thing is, you know, is we live in an economy where if we all were to get together, because you see changes being made when they boycott stuff. Mm-hmm. When these large corporations are getting boycotted and they're losing billions of dollars, then all of a sudden now you could drop it back down to a reasonable
like
price.
Kellogg's.
Or, you know,
everything on sale now.
Things like that. And it sucks, man. I'm going to tell you, what was that movie? Was it Ants? Where they all band together against the grasshoppers or whatever. It's a kid movie.
Life.
A Bug's Life.
Yeah.
It's a kid's movie, but yet there's a
same,
lot of symbolism to that
Mm-hmm.
if people were to be able to stand together, because even stuff like gouging gas prices is unbelievable.
Yeah, gas price issues have always, I feel, been like an up and down situation, but I think they used to try to, not the gas, talking about the other stuff. I think that they tried to play it with, you know, the companies are struggling, and so we have to increase the prices because, like, you know, the cost of food and the cost of goods have increased because of the C word, right? That's what they tried to play it as at the beginning, you know? But then they circle back later on, like, we're having, like, record profits, and, you know, like, this is the most we've made, and that... So, like, y'all are making more money. You're actually doing really, really good. So, it's not a raising cost of goods issue.
Right.
It's a you guys are being greedy issue.
Right.
You know? So, like you said, if we were to take a stand together, it would change. A part of my definition of taking a change is I'm just not buying it no more. Like, I'm just like, okay, you want to charge $5? I'm just not willing to spend that on this. Right. We're going to have to fix something. We're going to have to pick something else instead of this.
Right.
That's what I'm doing. So I'm going to shut up now.